up here at the top left, our purple Zerg, a member of the team FOU. He's been around a while. One of our youngest players, in fact, did end up defending that 2-racks quite well. He is Leenock FOU. Splash. I like the little beach theme they've got going on here at the GSL. Down here at the bottom right. Remember
YoDa.
That was
really
intro.
quick.
YoDa doesn't wait. Did you guys see YoDa fight in the newer Star Wars movies? I know a lot of people don't like the newer Star Wars movies, but you can't deny that when YoDa fought in those movies, it was epic. He jumped around. He's a little green guy, but he's got a lightsaber. He's extremely fast. Can't deny it.
Yeah, we do have a very fast scout here coming out from Leenock. Just doesn't want to be caught off guard by any kind of early pressure like the last game. You got extremely lucky with that last game too, with that Overlord.
Yeah, that was... Well, there was the Overlord, and I have to say, I think you would have figured it out. If you go into a Terran player's base, and his barracks doesn't dump, but he's making an orbital, it's like, wait a minute, are you cheating? Did you make your orbital before your barracks? There's a rule against that.
It is a massive tell, though, if anyone's wondering. You get into that base, only see one, there's definitely a second barracks somewhere on the map.
Yeah. I think what maybe his opponent was trying to make him think was, oh, you're doing a 1 barracks expand. But in fact, it was just the 2 racks. And there's the drone coming in here. Sees the gas. We have been seeing a lot of Zergs go for fast scouts recently just to be safe against those 2 racks. It's because people have been finding out more and more ways to 2 racks. Before it was just the 2 racks. Doesn't really matter when you make it to 2 racks. Then there was the 2 racks SCV all in. People figured that out.
It just keeps getting more refined every time.
Exactly. Finding out exactly when to make that command center. Do I fake the 2 racks and then not even attack? And then he pulls drones when I send my first scouting SCV? Little things like that. And it looks like he is going to finally get this drone out of here. Block the drone from stealing his gas. Factory has been spotted.
Yeah, I was going to say, you did see that factory though. Sometimes you just see players intentionally let them see one thing and then cancel it as he wants out. But the drone almost gets away.
He's going to move this barracks close to the factory so he can make a reactor there. There's the reactor. He's making it closer so that when he goes to switch, he doesn't have his wall open. He's most likely going to finish that wall off with the 3rd depot. SCV gets in here now. Sees that Leenock has been mining gas for quite some time. Wants to try and see if Leenock continues to mine gas, but he's going to send that SCV back in. Yeah. There's the command center, which will complete that wall off. So that way when he switches to do the reactor, doesn't have the possibility of Zerlings getting to his base. It's happened to a lot of good players.
Yeah, I've seen it happen quite a bit back at the GOM house. Chef loves finding that timing to go through there as well. Very frustrating for some Terran players.
Yep.
He always finds some inane happiness whenever it happens too. It's like an evil chuckle that he does.
In StarCraft 1, man, you just don't even know. Does take out. In StarCraft 1, you couldn't lower depots, so if you walled off with a depot, you had to lift your barracks. And sometimes you would just play against players who they'd hide like 20 lings, and then you lift up the barracks and they just go in and you're like, oh, then you just leave the game. Sometimes you say expletives too. You just get so mad. So those Hellions just going to scout around, take control of the watchtowers. Zergling's speed about to finish, so he has to be very careful with those Hellions, because even though Hellions can beat Speedlings in a straight-up fight, if you get caught in a weird angle, bad things can happen. I like this move. Going to go ahead and make a second factory here. It's going to be going Blue Flame on a large map like this. It's a good style, and again, see what I'm saying? If you get trapped like that, it gets bad, but luckily his Hellion buddies came to help him out there.
We do see a good wall off here by Leenock as well. More Zerg players are starting to do this, and it really does help defending against Hellions.
Yeah, it's a good excuse to get an evolution chamber as well.
Yes.
Zergs just haven't been getting those upgrades as quickly as they should be. Now they're getting the +1 melee attack very, very quickly.
Yep.
Plus, if you have that evolution chamber, it also gives you the ability with the possibility of closed banshees.
Well, that Ling did just come in there. Gets roasted, but he did see that the command center was moving forward as well. Saw that they were repairing the Hellions as well, and we've got a second factory now being finishing up.
He doesn't really know that it's Blue Flame, though, it's coming out.
Yeah.
He didn't scout the second factory. He saw just 4 Hellions, so most likely he's thinking, okay, you made 4 Hellions, you just wanted to pressure with those, made me think that you're going Hellions, but I know you're really not. But he actually really is. Baneling Nest going down here. We could see Leenock try to be aggressive again. Wouldn't put it past him, but I think it's much less likely. It's a normal Baneling nest timing in general.
Yeah.
It's costs 100 gas or 100 minerals and 50 gas, so you can pretty much just make it whenever, and then you use it whenever it's appropriate. Blue Flame has been spotted here on 2 different Xel'Naga watchtowers. Leenock does have a spine. He's got a pretty decent wall. He's actually going to make another hatchery here to help wall off, also grant him some extra production.
Yep.
Here they come.
It's a pretty tight wall off too, but finding a small bit, but actually cleaning up with the lings as well. Take 3 of them out, 4 aliens out. Wow.
Why is he trying to force his way in? You just should, when you find out that that's like that, you just back off like he's doing now, attack the hatchery, do something like this. Trying to force your way in like that and giving away free Hellions is not something you want to do.
No, we do have a Viking on the way as well, just to go hunting down some Overlords.
One Viking to hunt Overlords is something a lot of Terrans have been doing in this matchup nowadays. Saw it a long time ago, fell out of popularity a little bit, now it's coming back. Queens do finally chase those Hellions away. Hatchery took a ton of damage though. I like this move. He's going to drop 3 Hellions into the main. Now, if that forces all of the Zerlings and Queens to go into the main, he can try to run those Hellions at the front into the natural.
But there are 2 Queens there, so they could complete the wall off as well with that hatchery and the spine crawler, and then just send his Lings back up into his main to be ready for that.
Yeah, it just depends on if he brings those Queens or not exactly.
Dropships going forward. He's going to end up dropping a lot of Lings being pulled now. I thought they were being pulled. No, they're not. Sitting there, but like I was saying, the 2 Queens are now completely walled off there. Blue Flames in the mineral line. All these drones being lined up. What are they doing lining up? Does get a surround on a lot of these.
Hellions not really micro. The other Hellions tried to run in, but like you said, the Queen's completely blocking it off. Can't get in. You can see 9 workers, though, killed by YoDa. Not as many as he would have liked, though.
Okay.
2 Thors on the way. So behind this, he's made those 2 factories, or he's added 2 factories, so he's got 3 factories, 2 of them making Thors, the other one just making Hellions when it can. Mutas are out now as well, so that's going to completely shut down these drops. Didn't really get any kills with those Hellions. But again, he's completely prepared with those Thors. He's ready for the next step.
Yeah, he is getting a lot of... It's just the harass being completely shut down. He's got a Thor there, so he's got a complete wall off those supply depots. That is extremely vulnerable. If he ever wants to come in and just snipe those, it will be very frustrating for YoDa. He's got a lot of upgrades coming here for Leenock as well. And now these Mutas, there are 2 Thors there, though. They can still do a lot of harass.
Yeah, he's going to be very careful with those Mutas. +1 vehicle weapons is on the way. It's about a third of the way done. Attacking these depots is Leenock. He's actually lowered all of them so he can move his Marines forward with his Thors to help defend this. But like you were saying, it's very vulnerable. Baneling's being made here. I'm not entirely sure why he wants to cancel those immediately. And he's not. When I said he wants to cancel them, I just said it's in his best interest, but I guess he really didn't want to cancel those Banelings.
Oh, a couple of Mutas coming out of nowhere there.
A little bit strange. Whoa! Leenock, buddy. Calm down. Throwing away a lot of units there. The Banelings as well. The cost of the Baneling does not get returned to you if the Baneling dies while morphing.
He's actually taking a 3rd at the 12 o'clock position, a very unusual spot. Most of the time you see them take the rocks down and go a 3rd there. So that might throw YoDa off a little bit. Yeah,
if he doesn't specifically check for it, he isn't going to expect it. In fact, he's sending that 1 Hellion that you guys just got a shot of there to check for the other base. He's going to see the Lings attack in. That may really throw him off. He's going to be like, oh, you didn't take a 3rd base yet. You haven't even started breaking those rocks down. Nice Hellion control, though. Does weaken all of these earlings. May even take more of them out. Does not, though, because of the Mutas. Right now, supply-wise, YoDa is up just 10 supply. He's got +2 vehicle weapons on the way. The Infestation Pit finished up. Hive Tech on the way. I think we might see some Ultralists here pretty soon, but also there is the possibility of Broodlords. When your opponent goes for this mech-oriented style, Broodlords do pretty well.
He's also taking a 4th down here at the 9 o'clock position.
And as you can see, YoDa preparing to take his 3rd. When you go for Broodlords, it just depends on whether or not your opponent's prepared for them. Because if he's got Vikings and he gets ready for that, if he sees that you're going for Greater Spire Tech, it's relatively easy for him to defend. Then you can go into Ultras. So he just wants to have that Hive Tech to be prepared to make sort of tech switches into this late game. Hellion's going to come over here, try to harass. They are being chased down by Mutas. Spine Crawler's going up here, but they're not going to be done in time. Just getting a few drones.
There's a lot of mutas in this camp now. If he does magic box them over the Thors, they don't do anywhere near as much damage as he wants because there's no Marines really in this mix at all.
Yeah, in fact, there are
2 Marines.
a total of 2. Exactly. Just 2 Marines, that's all he's got. +1 vehicle plating going up as well, so his +2 weapons about to finish. He's really going into this mech style with a ton of plating. More and more missile turrets going up here just to be safe from the mutas because mech very immobile. If all of your Thors are outside of your base, get in trouble. There's the Greater Spire, so he has to be going Broodlords initially here. But the Vikings, like I said, he's already prepared. He knows that this is the timing where his opponent's going to go Greater Spire.
Yep.
Vikings aren't cheap, though. You make too many Vikings and your opponent switches to Ultras, you get in trouble. And just Roach Warren going up as well. I like that move. The Roach Warren's always a great thing to have. That Viking going to get taken out by these mutas. Oops.
It's a good, really effective versus mech, as you and I were discussing last night, actually, to tech switch versus it. So he really needs to be careful, or YoDa really needs to be careful about what type of composition he has. And if Leenock tech switches on him very quickly, he can go very downhill.
Exactly. These Hellions going to lead the charge as finally YoDa decides to move out. It's so immobile, though, this army. They're at cross positions. Leenock has bases on the other side of the map. He's going to see this coming from a mile away. He's going to attack with his mutas before the Thors can catch up. So many Corruptors
about
here.
To finish too.
Yeah, he's going to make most of these Corruptors into Broodlords. He's stacked up about 2,000 minerals and about 1,500 gas for this.
There it is.
If he gets those Broodlords out, there aren't that many Vikings. He still has some Corruptors and mutas in the mix as well. Not to mention the Infestor.
He needs to get them finished before they get over there, though.
This is true. The Thor's hesitating here just a little bit. He's actually sieging up. Now he's going to move his force forward, but there are so many Broodlords.
Whoa, they are clumped up so much, though, losing a lot to those Vikings and Thors. Whoa, at least 4 of them were dropped there, but now he's going to come in and clean up the rest of this mech army with the Lings coming through as well.
He does clean it up without any problems. Even the Queen joining in the fight, she was able to transfuse several of those Broodlords to help him stay alive, but as you were saying, he lost half those Broodlords unnecessarily. There was no split there.
Yeah. Moving down across the map now, he really wants to see this 3 o'clock position, but he's coming in down into the 3rd base.
Yep, he does have a sensor tower there, so he does see this attack coming. Does he have enough to defend? Though. Yeah, I don't think he does. Mutas coming in as well. Does take out the sensor tower, losing a lot of SCVs here. Mutas may want to try to magic box. There's just not enough Mutas, but he's done a ton of damage to the SCVs, even killing some of these tanks, or damaging them significantly, taking a lot of splash damage from the tanks as well. Broodlords, mutas, more speedlings coming in as well. He's getting ready to attack the natural.
Yeah, +3 mech attack as well, though, coming through. And all those mutas bunching up as they went to go hit those Vikings. Not what he wanted to happen. The Blue Flames are still hiding in the mix there for those. And these Broodlords are going to go down very quickly.
Yeah, this is just not the right attack by Leenock. He lost a ton of units there. He was about 20 supply up. Now he's about 20 supply down.
Yeah. It was just the mutas auto-attacking those Vikings and just bunching up and getting right in the range of the Thors and just being absolutely melted.
Yeah, right now, 2-1 upgrades on those mech units. He's about to have +3. As soon as that finishes up, it's getting about halfway done. Right now for Leenock, he does have +2 missile attacks. Does not have any upgrades for his melee units, Zerglings and Banelings. He's researching Neural Parasite and +2 flyer attacks, as well as +3 missile attacks, so he's trying to catch up on those upgrades. Those Neural Parasites are going to be quite useful, but is he going to have them in time to really keep this base over here at the 9 o'clock? I don't think so.
Maybe. He's got a force going around here on the right-hand side as well. Yeah, does not know about this 3 o'clock expansion just yet, but he really needs to defend this push here. He's got 16 roaches in production that will do an okay job. I believe there's still SCVs with this force as well. No, he's pulled them back. Siege tanks going up.
Zergling counterattack is huge over here. There is 1 Hellion, but that 1 Hellion is not going to be enough.
There's actually 2 in there, but that's all right. He's being repaired. He might actually not get this down. There we go. It does clean up.
Yeah, it actually turns out it is enough. Almost enough.
He repaired that Hellion, and that's what saved him there.
Exactly.
He's got some roaches going around.
He's going to try to dart around here with a lot of roaches. He's got Neural Parasites about to finish. He's going to use that on these Thors as he runs forward. He's got the Neural Parasite now. A lot of roaches. They do have +2. He's waiting for the +3 weapons to finish. They're about to finish.
So close.
He's already lost a lot of hit points on that Baneling Nest.
I think he's got to go for it now. He doesn't really have a choice.
He's going for it. It's not done, but it will finish. It finishes now. Neuroparasites on a lot of these Thors, but the Infestor's dropping so quickly. There may be too many roaches, though. He crushes through this army. Way too many roaches. The Thors do go down.
That was extremely one-sided. Now we'll get the supply.
Yeah. The supply now, 193 to 90. That little push by YoDa was so important, and Leenock didn't hesitate. Or I mean, rather, he did hesitate until just the right moment. He didn't just go for it. He didn't freak out. He stayed calm, just like in the first game.
Yeah, and that's really keeping him in this game. YoDa will panic at that point. He's going for a counterattack, though. Not enough roaches to go up there into those tanks. He's got 12 mutas just popped there. He's still 100 supply up, though.
Yeah, and there's a base over here at the 3 o'clock position that Leenock hasn't yet scouted. It is a planetary. It's going to be difficult to deal with, but he is going to try to brush through here. He does have +3 on these roaches, like I mentioned earlier.
Whoa.
There's too many tanks, though. Tanks also have +3. You can see just how fast those roaches drop. They don't have any carapace upgrades.
No, they don't. But we do have, I believe that's level 3 air attack for his mutas as well. He's also getting Overlord speed and drop.
Most likely, I think we're going to start seeing some Baneling drops at these bases.
We also see 2 more bases being taken here by Leenock as well, the top right-hand corner and the bottom left. So he's going to get quite a few bases. The downside to this is, we do have Blue Flames in the main. Sorry, where are they? I can't see on this minimap.
That was at his third base.
Okay.
So, +2 armor plating going up. 4 Thors on the way. That's a lot of Thors to be making at once. It's very expensive. It's very difficult to remax the mech army. But he's playing it safe. He's playing it defensively. Continuing to harass, like you said, with those Hellions. But 14 drones on the way. Leenock droning up. He wants to get all those drones up. Hold that thought. Muta's over here. A lot of Vikings and Thors, though. Well, where are the Thors? There they are, popping out.
He's actually magic boxing over that Thor. Wants to get as much kills as he can. Does get that Thor down, getting a lot of damage by the turrets, but he's done what he wanted to. We do have 4 Thors in production now, but now he's just going to go and pick off all these turrets. He is still maxed out. He's going to try and get these upgrades from stop working, and he's got all his upgrades for the Overlords as well.
Yeah, that upgrade was actually cancelled, but he didn't kill the armory.
Oh, it's going to burn anyway.
Yeah, it will most likely burn. He's going to probably start that upgrade on this other armory. These mutas just trying to do what they can, but with missile turrets and Vikings don't beat mutas straight up. But if the Vikings cannot range the mutas don't want to get close because of the turrets, that can work out quite well. And Leenock found the planetary.
It is. There's nothing really to defend it except these Vikings that are coming through. Leenock needs to be careful, though. Doesn't want to lose as many mutas as he is at the moment. He's still maxed out. He's getting quite a bit of a trust fund. I think he's ready to go for some Broodlords, though.
Yeah, I don't believe he's taken an Ultralisk Cavern. I'm trying to check around the map during all this. No, he has not made an Ultralisk Cavern. He may stick with his air tech just a little bit longer, then switch over to Ultras. There are roaches sneaking across the map, or maybe just a bad rally. They're going to take out some of these Hellions, though. Pretty effective trade. Remember, YoDa has +3 weapons for those vehicles, so they are extremely strong Thors, tanks, and Hellions. He did have +2 plating almost done. Of course, he lost the armory. He hasn't remade it since then, so he only has +1 plating.
Well, the longer Leenock waits, the bigger this army for YoDa is going to be, and he needs to be careful that he doesn't engage too close to his natural or his main, that he can't remax again to take out the remainder of YoDa's army before he walks in and clears everything out.
He has +3 flyer attacks. That's something to mention as well. We mentioned it earlier, but in case you guys have forgotten, that means that those mutas can kill tanks so quickly, especially the tanks that only have +1 plating. It affects the Broodlords as well. The Broodlings, though, don't get any additional attack upgrades once they're landed and attacking on the ground. So many Hellions it takes to kill a Roach. Even when the Roach doesn't have any armor, it still doesn't matter.
So we got lots of Broodlords coming in here. If we have a look at it, there's only 8 Vikings in total, so it's going to take them a bit amount of time. As long as Leenock doesn't bunch his mutas up near those Thors, he should be able to take those out.
He should indeed. His muta's going to come over here and attack the SCV line most likely.
No, there is a Thor there as well with quite a few turrets, so we should be safe. But the downside for YoDa is where is he going to take another base?
Exactly. I mean, he's basically going to be stuck on these 4 bases forever. Leenock realizes this. He's playing very passively. He's building up a lot of money. He's adding more production, more and more hatcheries, and the Broodlords have been spotted.
Actually, it looks a little bit more than it is there at the moment. Oh, we need to be careful not to get caught out of position. There are a lot of Corruptors there as well. They're bunching up, though, as the Thors come in from the left.
Yeah, and the Vikings going to be targeted down by these Mutas. But again, missile turrets and Thor is doing a lot of damage, and I don't know. It's starting to look like Leenock might not win this fight, but he has cleaned up most of the anti-air.
There's only 2 Thors left, and if you can take those out, there's a lot of tanks free for the biggie. Whoa, making 6 more Broodlords right on top of this army as well. Got a lot of units coming through here. Oh, he's the Thors and the tanks.
That's what I like to call an infestor flank. I didn't even see those infestors. He's killed a ton of these units. Now there's no more anti-air. The Broodlords are going to finish. Things are going to get quite nasty. He will lose these infestors, but that's okay. That wasn't really the key part of his army.
The key part was those Thors, which are gone now. A fungal growth going in just before they end up. And looks like these Broodlords, there is a lot of Broodlords there coming across. There's no anti-air. All these tanks are being taken out. And now he can just turn his attention for that 4th base, which is pretty much the only mining base left.
Exactly. Even killed that command center that was building there. Taking a huge supply lead again, but if YoDa continues to play turtley, backs up, he's about to have +2 armor for his vehicles. It's just now finishing. There are a lot of Vikings here, and a lot of Thors as well. The Broodlord's pretty stacked up, but are there enough Thors? There may just be this time.
I know these Broodlords are going to work on them very quickly, the Broodlings as well. It's those 3 Vikings that are going to turn the tide. He needs to focus down. The Roaches coming in as well. The tanks being sieged up, and they're running right next to these Thors. Really wants to get those down. There's only 2 tanks left, but YoDa surviving.
Uh-oh, these Mutas came in at the wrong time. He does take out 2 Thors, though, with that tiny Muta squad, taking out a lot of tanks as well. And that attack, while it didn't look really cost-effective, he traded pretty efficiently. Adrenal glands on the way, more speedlings on the way. Now that he's got the Thor count relatively low, he's making a ton of speedlings. On top of that, he's just now started +1 for melee attacks.
Yep.
He's going to be switching into more Zergling heavy play from here.
Just looking at the income tab here, we do have 2,200 minerals a minute versus the 1,100. 91 harvesters to 54. And that is really going to start to hurt YoDa here. He doesn't really have a trust fund. Looking at Leenock's resources at 175 supply with 3.5k, 2.5k resource bank. And that's just really starting to hurt YoDa because he just can't take another base.
He just can't. He is doing a good job of harassing with these Hellions where he can, though. There are spine crawlers at every base, but he's going to target down these drones. Nice control with these Hellions. Zergling's coming in, though, to help clean this up. +2 player carapace being researched. We may see 3-3 upgrades on these air units if the game goes on much longer.
Yeah, well, it's just this turtle style by YoDa. It's very hard to crack.
I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen YoDa get any upgrades of his own for his air. It's very important to have those Viking upgrades. More and more Broodlords being morphed here. Still, no inkling of wanting to get Ultralisks. As you can see there, added an extra orbital, dropping mules over there at that top right base. There are no free expansions except the one at the bottom left, and he's going to go ahead and go over here, try to target down the bases of Leenock. Leenock has so many minerals banked, though, that if he loses this, if he crushes the army killing it, he can just remake those bases, no problem.
Yep.
He's not going to hold these. Leenock being a little indecisive here. He's got a ton of Broodlords in the middle. I love this, going to right-click on this planetary with these Banelings.
He's just running around until he gets close on those SCVs as well. Takes out all those SCVs. 3 left to repair that. But still.
Yeah, 39 SCVs to 86 drones. You know how many Broodlords are on the map? There's 13. That's kind of a lot.
YoDa down to only about 200 to 300 minerals per minute, though, and it looks like the door may be closing on his chances to win this game.
Yeah, YoDa just does not have the army he needs anymore. He can't remax. He just doesn't have the economy. One mining base, lost a lot of SCVs earlier, can't take another base. He's got another command center, but where is he going to send it?
Looks like he's going to send it to the 6 o'clock position, but it's going to be very vulnerable. Leenock spending a lot of gas on all these upgrades. There's the Ultralist cabin we were talking about before. We'll probably see another remax with Ultras to just clean things up in the end.
Yeah, he's getting +2 carapace, +2 melee attacks. That's going to really help out his Broodlings, as well as his Zerglings. A lot of Corruptors coming here to tank the damage. This may be our final engagement if it occurs. Here come the Broods.
There, though.
That is a lot of Vikings, but with Fungals and Corruptors, I'm not sure if this is going to work.
There we go. He's going to come in. He might actually fungal a lot of these. He is going to try and focus down some of these Thors by the looks of it. All the Corruptors are banking up. The Infestors trying to get in a position where they can do it. Getting hit by some of those tanks there, though. Is there corruption going down? I hope there is. The Vikings going to work on all these Broodlords. But
I think this is going to be it. He just is going to lose his entire army here. He doesn't have the economy to remake this again. Leenock sitting at 6,000 resources, 2,000 gas. GG. So Leenock, he ate that cheese. He took that cheese and he ate it. YoDa looking very displeased. I thought YoDa was going to win. He took out Slayer's men. Maybe Leenock's even better than I thought. I always knew he was a good player, but that style, that ability to make good decisions into the late game was awesome. Awesome play by Leenock.
It was. He just kept up the pressure, didn't allow him to get any extra bases with those muters, and his late game looked strong. He even was at the end of there. He had so many resources, he had so many upgrades as well.
Yeah.
And he was just going into Broodlords next, and he was just making sure he had the upgrades before he went to those.
Where were the air upgrades for the Terran? The ship weapons would have made those Vikings so much stronger. Once the +2 Carapace came out on those Broodlords and on those Corruptors, the Corruptors, he had so many Vikings, but it just didn't matter. He didn't even get off any fungals on those Vikings. Just too many upgrades. +3 weapons on those Corruptors, +2 Carapace. That really became important in the late game. And one thing I would be a little critical of Leenock on is he got his melee attack upgrades a little bit late. That made his Broodlings not do as much damage. His Zerlings didn't really do as much damage, but he did start getting them in the end.
But at the same time, he didn't want to spend a lot of that gas that he had on those upgrades just yet. He wanted to make sure he had enough to remax in case an attack did come through, just playing a little bit safe in that regard.
I mean, he doesn't have 8 evolution chambers. He can't get everything, okay? He just had 2, so he was getting what he could. I like that he started getting those air upgrades. He got almost every upgrade possible. He got the Neural Parasite. You remember that one attack where the game just changed? It looked kind of close. He did that one attack with all the Thors, and then he waited for the +3 for his Roaches. And then he went and he Neural Parasited. That fight was almost the deciding fight, because after that fight, Leenock had total map control. He had 5, 6 bases, maybe even 7. His opponent had 3, and he just couldn't take another base. He finally was able to force that one extra base. Kept losing units there. It was really, really rough on him.
Yeah, that's right. Well played by Leenock. He will go into the round of 8.
That is true.
And up next, we are going to have
Czech versus Noblesse. So
another
stay
TVZ.
tuned for that. Czech, I thought he was slumping, but last time I watched him play, I saw a lot of improvement. Noblesse always been a solid player, very creative guy. I'm very interested to see how he'll do in our next ZVT. A lot of ZVD, what is that? It's the new race. Don't tell, I just spoiled the Heart of the Swarm. It's a new race in Heart of the Swarm. It's D. What does it stand for? What does it mean?
We'll find out.
Fruit dealer leaving TSL. What does it mean? I'm going to make jokes about that forever. He's going to rejoin TSL. I'm still going to make jokes about it. So I think we are going to have a 5-minute break here in just a second. Our Korean commentators are giving scores to the players right now. That's what they do during this time. What would you give Leenock out of 10? Just, don't do decimals. Just out of 10, what would you give him?
Don't do decimals?
Don't do decimals.
I'd give him an 8 or a 9. He was very calm, collected throughout that entire game.
Yeah, 8 or a 9, absolutely. Completely calm, never overreacted to anything. I'm going to start calling him the patient Zerg. He's really patient. His opponent played pretty well. But I wouldn't say his style was cheesy, which Leenock seems to think so. After he ate that cheese, he took a slice of cheese and he ate it.
Yeah.
I actually ate a cheeseburger before I came here.
You did?
Well, it's like a cheeseburger omelet. It's complicated. You guys just don't know. All right, we're going to have our 5-minute break. We'll see you guys when we get back. Noblesse versus
Czech, of course.
All right.
You're trying to trick me.
I'm trying to mess with you. All right, see you guys in 5.
Yeah.